To tie my Go Anywhere carp and barbel rig, you'll need a sharp hook with an out-turned eye. For carp I use size 4s and 6s. For barbel I use 6, 8s and 10s. Some soft coated braid, you can use stiff coated but it's not a material I like. Some soft fluorocarbon and a decent pair of braid scissors. Thread the braid through the back of the eye of the hook. Leave about a centimetre down the hook shank to where your little overhand knot is. I wrap 7 times around the shank. And bring it back through. Pull it tight. I then strip back the coating about ½ an inch behind the eye and I'll strip it all the way off. Now that semi-stiff bit there, the soft coating, will help that hook turn every single time. Catches in lip or on the bottom lip really well. I can now tie that onto the eye of a swivel and use it in a PVA bag to fish over low-lying weed. Or I can extend it with some fluorocarbon and an all-bright knot. This is how you tie it. Strip a length of fluorocarbon off. Don't cut it, just put your spool to one side. Find the end, loop it over. Now take your braided hook link, put it through the loop from underneath, then grip between finger and thumb. Leave plenty of loose material on the braid on this side of the loop that you've threaded it through, and then wrap it around 7 times, both pieces of braid. That's 7 times going up. Now they say go 5 times back down. I tend to go 3 times back down. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. Now this is the most important bit. I've threaded it through the braid through from this side, so I want the braid to go back through from this side, and that prevents the knot from slipping. Now we'll wet the knot down and tighten it up. I like to leave 2 or 3 inches of the braid. Gives you a nice soft moving section. Next, I'll trim off the braid and the fluorocarbon. Pinch it tight, and again I'll blob that down, guarding the knot. Again, it's a confidence thing. I just think that helps should the knot slip a little bit. Now I can make it 6 or 7 inch long, fishing for carp. I can make it 3 or 4 foot long because it's still attached to its spool. On this one I'm just going to make it about, what, 10 inch, fold it over, whip it round my finger, take it back round, tuck it through, and before I pull it tight I'll just wet it. Pull it tight, make sure, trim it down. Again, it's a personal thing, just gives me a bit of extra confidence for chance out slips, and give it a blob. That's the go anywhere rig tied. You can fish it popped up if you put a pop up on it there, or you can put a bottom bait on it and fish it on the bottom. My basic braided hook links are kept in a rig wallet, and when I get to the bank I extend them with some RQ in £10. Now I use £10 because I have a £12 main line and the braid is £15, so it's the fluorocarbon is the lighter section, that's where it will break, so, or that's the theory. Along with my rigs and my fluorocarbon in the rig wallet, I keep a selection of pre-tied hairs. It's just a rig ring with some hair braid tied to it, 4 or 5 inch, and when I'm on the bank, depending on what size bait I'm going to use, I can tie them off. Little standard overhand knot in that, I can make it as long or as short as I need. I also use hook ring swivels if I'm fishing with pop-ups or artificial baits. I like to use Enterprise Tackle's imitation snails. I put a piece of foam into the snail, thread some nylon through the small eye on the hook ring swivel, pull it through, pull the nylon through with a baiting needle and then blob it down. The large ring fits on your hook, and then you use a little hook stop, ring stop, thread it round the hook, a bit of rig putter along or on the knot or just behind the coated bit of the braid, and you can adjust the height of how it sits on the bottom. Make sure that your stop is in line with your barb on your hook if you're using a barbed hook. For a bottom bait you can still use a ring swivel or a hook ring swivel. Just make sure the hair's a bit longer. I have found if you keep the hair short like that, it will blow out if the fish ejects it. So longer hair for a bottom bait, and have it a bit, the stop a bit further round the shank or round the bend of the hook.